Hello everyone, I am Lauren Dale F. Aliligay, and for today's video, I will going to discuss about my research in ethics and morals. So first, what is ethics? The word ethics signifies character in ancient Greek, whereas morals, means habit. Ethic theory or system work with human values, right action, and wrong behavior, and in the motives of a good and evil, and end those actions. The main point in this definition is that ethics, as a field of study, is a systematic analysis of values. Sometimes, ethical research contains this element. It is also not merely a set of commands like don't kill, although it often includes this element as well. Rather, it is an attempt to analyze value judgment in a systematic way. Did you know, for a philosophical discussion of ethics, there are two main categories, theoretical ethics and applied ethics. Theoretical ethics or ethical theory, a systematic attempt to understand morality concepts and justify moral principles and theories. Applied ethics, in contrast, applied ethics with questionable morals issues such as questions of morality, abortion, premarital sex, death penalty, euthanasia, and animal rights. Trying to apply everyday ideas about good and evil to these questions will not always give you an accurate answer. We need to study these issues in more detail, and we need a theoretical foundation that can help us analyze complex problems and find rational and consistent solutions to those problems. So for us to learn more, let me discuss how does ethics differ from morality. In everyday context, the terms ethics and morality are not always used consistently and precisely, and their ordinary meanings do not always correspond with philosophers' use of the terms. Ethics is frequently used in connection with organizational activities and professional codes of conduct, such as medical and business ethics, which are frequently formalized in the form of exhaustive sets of rules or guidelines stating how employees are expected to behave in their workplace, such as in respect of a duty of care or confidentiality that healthcare workers owe to their patients, or the medical ethical principles of beneficence, non-maleficence, respect for autonomy, and justice. Morality, on the other hand, is more commonly associated with the ways in which individuals conduct their personal private life, frequently regarding personal financial probity, legitimate conduct, and acceptable interpersonal standards, including truthfulness, honesty, and sexual propriety. Ethics are the norms that you must follow to remain a member of a society or profession. Morals are your ideals that flow deep into your being depending on your occupation. Your morality on a certain topic may be stricter than the code of ethics for the same issue. So for us to dig deeper, let us discuss what are the different moral ethical theories. Relativism is the belief that truth and falsehood, good and wrong, standards of reasoning, and argumentation methods are products of diverse conventions and frames of assessment, and that their power is limited to the context in which they are arise. More specifically, relativism refers to views that hold that at a high level of abstraction, at least some class of things have the properties they have: beautiful, morally good, epistemically justified, not simply but only relative to a given framework of assessment, local cultural norms, individual standards, and that the truth of claims attributing these properties holds only once the relevant framework of assessment is specified or established. Divine command theory central states that all human moral obligations are in some way intertwined. Approach that is based on heavenly commands. More exactly, an act is morally obligatory if God orders it, morally wrong if God prohibits it, and merely morally permitted if God neither commands nor forbids it. And it is God's commanding, forbidding, or doing neither that bases the moral statuses of actions in some way. The fact that a given human being possesses moral obligations is a distinguishing element of divine command theory. Only if that human being receives a divine mandate in some way. Next, egoism can be either descriptive or normative. The most well-known descriptive perspective is psychological egoism, which asserts that everyone has only one goal, her own well-being. Rather than describing what one does, normative varieties of egoism make statements about what one should do. According to ethical egoism, I am morally obligated to do something if and only because doing so maximizes my self interest. According to rational egoism, I should do something if and only because doing so maximizes my self interest. The oath here is not limited to the moral oath. Next, consequentialism. The core of consequentialism is that actions should be judged on the relative quality of projected results, based on an objective view of what is best. Consequentialism dictates what we analyze, all choices, including the potential of not deploying an automated system, and weigh the anticipated consequences that may occur, considering all factors, including long-term ramifications. Last one, deontology. Regardless of the consequences, an act is simply right or bad from a deontological standpoint. According to deontologists, if a moral rule can be broken in one context, it may be broken in any situation, and so ceases to be a moral norm. For example, do not kill is a classic absolute deontological rule. Therefore, murder, even if it saves lives, is always immoral from a deontological standpoint. The aims justify the methods for a utilitarian but not for a deontologist. That's all for today. Thank you for listening and watching.